So I'm a lawyer, and I have been working the last 25 years in the intersection between organizational development, legal innovation, and new technology. And last week, my friend Greg asked me, "Would you have been here if it hadn't been for Sonia?" And it made me really think. And I thought, no, I wouldn't have been if it hadn't been for Sonia. Then you wonder, who is Sonia? And we're lucky we did a video 10 years ago or 12 years ago with her kind of vision, because that was actually what sparked my entrepreneurial impulse. So I'll start there.
Jag skulle vilja hjälpa andra att förstå patienter bättre. Ibland lyssnar ni inte eller förstår ni inte allt som vi vill lära er. Jag tycker det är bra att kunna skriva in hur jag verkligen mår och tänker. Så att det finns samlat på ett och samma ställe. Det är bra att ta för att andra ska förstå, och det blir bara tjatigt om jag ska förklara allt på nytt varje gång. Jag skulle önska att ni kunde gå hem och veta mer om hur det är att vara patient.
I want to show you what I see in my dreams.
Jag vill inte ha den här sjukdomen. Men när jag ändå blir sjuk vill jag att det ska vara så lite jobbigt som möjligt. Jag vill ju bara leva mitt liv.
I want to live my life, and I know we will fly. I believe the world can change if we try.
So Sonia is 21 years today, and she wants to become a psychologist because she had never any use of any psychologist, and she doesn't know anyone who ever had any use of any psychologist. So she will do the benevolent disruption there, I think, with her experience. For me, I translated what I had to do into because who I was, into the notion of, okay, how, if we had personal health information exchanges, how could we empower all these people living with long-term illness to support they work together with care with their loved ones and with healthcare, and in doing that generating valuable health data and doing this with patient-controlled information flow. So I want to first give you two examples of what we're working around with our lab in lab today, and then I'm going to give you three examples of working principles that are extremely important for what we do, because of course we come from a very strong why. Lab in lab is trying to develop development environments for patient-controlled information flows, and I've been working with Carolina for many years, since you did your PhD on decision support systems in HIV, I think. The use of data, not only for quality improvement and research, but also for bettering the kind of the meeting between patients and providers. And Philip, we've been talking for many years and exploring this idea of how can we help the world, become a better place with data-driven things that are also benevolent, to use a word here. So right now, we're working with the Stockholm region around this problem. They have a problem. They need to facilitate and improve the self-reporting of glucose sensor data and insulin pump data from patients to healthcare professionals, and the reporting should be of such quality that it can be used for continuous care optimization and follow-up. And this is a regional ambition where the region is setting up a pilot environment. And what is this? Well, in real language, is that patients now with diabetes, they are tracking their blood sugar all the time with different devices, a lot of different devices. They have insulin pumps, different pumps. Some are connected, some are not connected. When they need to upload the data, some they do in the waiting room, some they do with the API, some they do with some other uploading app. So in the clinic nowadays, they have 3, 4, 5 different decision support systems. So it's becoming a real problem in diabetes care. So we met them 6 months ago, and they were stuck. They had been trying to get this going for 1.5 years. And the lawyers are saying no, the IT information security guys are saying you can't do this, the IT at the hospital is not setting it up. So we brought some tools to the table, and one of the most important things, the ways we're working, is creating something simple enough for the IT people to think that, okay, good, yeah, there is some order here. For the leaders in healthcare to want to discuss, yes, this is the way we work. If we have the patients have an information system with their own devices and tracking, we want to get that data. We want to look at that data. Yes, we need to store it where we are. Yes, they are storing it where they are. What are the purposes here? What are the purposes here? Yes, the licensed healthcare professional needs to use this. Oh yes, we want quality improvement and research to be able to use this data. Yes, we will look at it in different ways over time. And yes, we need information system for secondary use. Oh yeah, when we do this and then we learn that we need to change the setting of the insulin pump, oh yes, they need to get that information. They can't get this information from there because that's not safe. They need to get it this way. We need to make a note in the medical record, get the information to them, and so. Simple enough, level 1, for us now this week to sit down with the Danish supplier of the new technology that they're trying out. Tomorrow there is going to be a meeting with the leadership at the diabetes care where they are actually going to define their own POC principles with enough detail so we can say, okay, if you think this way, the lawyers say this, the nurses say this, the company can do this. Yeah, you get it. So I'll stop there. That's like one way of working. And the other example is from the US, where we're now working with Johns Hopkins and Boston Children's around. This is more going deeper down into makerspace. It's kind of, the first one is just facilitating the whole information flow at scale. And this is more going deeper into some aspect. If one key here is to get feedback loops to the patients so they get motivated, they take care of themselves, they feel in control, they feel empowered. And with a researcher language at Johns Hopkins, they call it the overarching goal of the STRC mHealth team is to identify the mHealth project, is to identify in the mHealth project to examine if behavioral change techniques implemented via mHealth applications can support self-management and co-production of care for adults with cystic fibrosis, the diagnosis that my daughter has. And they are doing something really cool. They are thinking about some people have high engagement, some have low, some are adhering to treatment, some are not. How can we help people move and get engaged and get adherent? How can we use behavior change techniques to create this movement? So it's another way of working. And this is Tia, the data scientist from Johns Hopkins, and this is from yesterday evening. We have meetings every Wednesday evening with them. Just kind of. And then I want to talk about 3 important design and working principles for us that are extremely kind of why-oriented. And we're talking in the car on the way here. The challenge with these things is that for me, they're extremely important to me. So how can we bring these up and continue the collaboration, not kind of, how can we be there as in the collaboration? And the first one is, why should we be doing patient-controlled information flows? There always needs to be the patient-controlled information flow. And one story there is that we know that this was 2006, we had difficulties in seeing what was asthma and what was cystic fibrosis, and we were asked to kind of make notes on a piece of paper to see if we could see some patterns. And this was, and I also understood that these kind of measurements were also something that really meant something to the healthcare, and it also meant something to us when my daughter was blowing not so well. And then I was super surprised when I went to the pharmacy and got some asthma meds out, and it said, you can't almost read it, but it said there, when my daughter blows between 120 and 130, you should use this drug. So like an epiphany. Okay, we were collecting data, we were doing it for us, and all of a sudden she didn't say anything, the physician. Ferenc, yeah, he left. But it was another doctor that we were talking to. So the patient-controlled information flow is about bridging the gap between the clinical reality and the patient world, and to create some shared learning. And it also creates a good order when you want to start with these data flow diagrams, that you have a good structure where you are founded with the patient and you're working with the different domains and are clear when you're crossing domains. The second one is learning networks. So now the reason why my daughter is going to be a psychologist is because we got this amazing disease-modifying treatments 3 years ago. There's a total shift with cystic fibrosis, where from having a disease where you have all these exacerbations, now the line is here. It's totally different. So everything is changing. But we need a community of practice to get into this new world, to generate all the new knowledge. And I've been exploring in the US that the notion of learning networks is very well known, and it's been a way of collaborating together using design principles, patients, providers, researchers, policymakers, and by doing that, we could get the infrastructure decisions to connect the patient things to the researcher things, and create these kind of ecosystems of data more on an agreement level. And this makes it possible to open up for all these discussions and conversations that are needed for change. We need benchmarking transparency, we need the clinical team to be able to look at the population in new ways. We need the patient-provider discussions to look at goals the new way. We need families to be able to take self-care actions in new ways. We have more industry-based conversations that need to be going. So we need to support all these conversations, and we can only do that with in learning networks is what we think at Lab in Lab. And the last thing is biology of love. What is biology of love? Okay. one way of looking at biology of love is reading a poem. So let's read a poem, or I'll read it to you. So if you close your eyes. Human beings are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. And this is a poem that is at the entrance of the UN building in the US. And we have a secret sauce recipe that we build from this in our lab is to, if we build everything we do from democratic principles of respect, equality, honesty, collaboration, and ethics, then everything falls in place. All the legal stuff will do the wave. People will feel it's good, and it will cost less. So we translated that into some hows, helping social conversation, helping learning, helping evaluation and measuring, helping taking ethically adequate action, and into some whats. What does it look like? The feedback loops, so important. No feedback loops, feed forward. We help people kind of prepare, because if when a patient comes into the doctor's office and they feel that you want something that they can't give you, the conversation starts with kind of defense, right? But if they can get some information before we knock on the door, they can put 3 things on the table and they can say, welcome in, and they can offer you 3 things. It kind of changes everything. Creating safe spaces together to promote not only health but also well-being, and taking action based on shared beliefs. And this ideal type model that I've been giving you 3 ingredients of now really helps facilitate the collaboration around all aspects of interoperability. Thank you.